his plays. It just feels like he doesn't come and get the ball. You know what I mean? Like, he needs to be more aggressive. He needs to be involved. Look at him hanging out around half court. Jalen, do you think this is more on Westbrook or on Harden that he doesn't have the ball in these waning moments?
David Jacoby, this is why it frustrates me sometimes when people think the best player has to either be the go-to guy in all situations and or the leader. That ain't necessarily the case in a team dynamic. There are people in the Hall of Fame that all of a sudden the game got tight, easier to deny them the ball. All of a sudden you can't get open. I've been talking about James doing this for years. When he does not have the ball, he just disengages himself. He allowed himself to act like he was being denied at the top of the floor. It's almost like, y'all ain't giving me the ball, y'all go ahead. I'm going to watch the results. And so I don't anticipate him doing that again because he understands Game 7, as much as it's going to cost Mike D'Antoni his job if they don't win, it's going to continue to perpetuate something that he does not want as a great player, is that not only can he not get it done in the biggest moments, but when they lose, it's ugly. I remember the little double-digit turnovers. I remember them losing to the Spurs and they didn't shoot and didn't score. I remember them missing 27 straight threes. When you play this feast or famine style, this home run or strikeout style, it looks ugly most times when you lose, and that's going to fall on James Harden if they don't get it done.
Who knows what's going to happen in Game 7? There's so much on the line, so many storylines, so much drama, so much petty. Like Chris Paul said, some people are built for it, some people aren't, and we will find out in Game 7. But we also had a Game 1 last night. Butler was built for it, as Chris Paul says. Down the stretch, Jimmy Butler just kept hitting shot after shot, hitting threes. He's not necessarily a three-point shooter, and he took over and won this game for the Heat. But it was Giannis Antetokounmpo's play that left everyone sort of wondering what was going on. What was going on with the MVP?
A couple of things that were going on in yesterday's game. Close your eyes with me. I want to hypnotize the audience for a second. Everything I said about Chris Paul, it applies to Jimmy Butler. Just think about it. Every time they lose somewhere, every time they leave somewhere, it's because they're abrasive, or they rub people the wrong way, or they're too tough on their teammates. And then now all of a sudden when they go to situations when the expectation isn't so very high like it was when you joined Karl Anthony Towns in Minnesota, or it wasn't so very high like when you were Lob City at the Clippers. Now all of a sudden people have to pay attention to the Heat and pay attention to the Thunder. It's like, wait a minute, these guys are willing their squads to victory. That's his playoff career high. And for those that have been watching the NBA all year, Jimmy Butler has not been an accurate three-point shooter. He has not been a high-volume scorer. He's playing playoff basketball. He's playing exactly different than he did during the regular season. I appreciate that about him on both ends of the floor. That's why they're up 1-0 versus the Bucks. Yeah, Chris Middleton has been an all-star playing alongside Giannis, but Jimmy Butler is an all-star regardless, and that was the difference in that game besides Giannis struggling.
Giannis had 18 points and 10 rebounds, a great stat line, but not necessarily a great stat line for him. He missed 8. What was up with Giannis last night?
His confidence is shot, Jacoby. You normally don't see, even if it's a poor shooter, you know what you rarely see them do? Shoot air balls. The one thing you rarely see a poor shooter do is shoot air balls. There's a sticker on the left side of the NBA hoop. It's the logo Jerry West. And when somebody shoots a brick, since he's not wearing a helmet, I say that's going to give the logo a concussion. But I don't see a lot of air balls from the free throw line at that. That lets you know that it's in his head. And for the Miami Heat, they pick a team based on its toughness than its skill, while other teams do it in reverse. And the Milwaukee Bucks can't allow themselves to be bullied by the Miami Heat plus outskilled, or they will not win this series.
Now, you know I picked the Heat to beat the Bucks in this series over a month ago. And one thing I want to point out to fans that watch this game, what hat is that you're wearing?
Michigan Wolverines.
Duncan Robinson hit one shot last night, and the Miami Heat won. Again, Duncan Robinson hit one shot last night, and the Miami Heat won. And you mentioned Giannis lost his confidence. Well, he seemed a little testy after the game, why he didn't switch on to Jimmy Butler down the stretch. Let's listen to the MVP.
Did you ask Bud to take Jimmy late?
To guard him?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Why would you ask that?
Is that something you want to do going forward?
No, I'll do whatever coach tells me to do.
Jalen, what do you think about the Defensive Player of the Year not to switch on to Jimmy Butler down the stretch?
It don't matter what happened in